Hello, welcome to another General Zero Hour replay. We've got a replay from February 3rd here. It's a 4v4 on Sin City map. Looking at the teams, we've got Matt over here on this left-hand side, GLA Demo. His teammate next to me, Scottagorn, also GLA Demo in the dark blue. Next to him, Skippy with USA Laser. Pancake over here on the right side, USA Air Force, getting going, and then the opposite team across from them is going to be Neo, China Vanilla, building across from Pancake, SS up here with GLA Vanilla, Jack next to him, GLA Vanilla as well, and a hard army over here on this left side across from Matt, USA Laser. On this map, usually this left bridge is going to be contested between the two far left players. The middle is going to be contested by the four players who are set up in the middle. There's a supply dock there and there, as well as two up top, and plenty of oils. And this right side is going to be contested between Pancake and Neo, who are setting up their defenses across from each other already. This bridge cannot be built on for defenses, and so usually players will be content to put up their defenses across from each other and not try to rush, not try to cross the bridge. But however, here on this left-hand side, Matt is going to be doing just that into Hard Army's base. And I do remember him saying, as his teammate, something to the effect of, we got to take out Hard Army quick, otherwise they're going to be coming back strong later in the game, so he wanted to go after them early. Going after them with a quad cannon, 3 rebels, and 4 RPG troopers. Quad cannon is focused on the Chinooks. The RPG troopers are brought over to the left for the Chinooks as well. He's bringing the Marauder up to the right. He must have known that's where the War Factory was, and he's training that Marauder on the Humvees. Seeing those missile defenders come out now, he's going to move his quad cannon back, bring his rebels up to deal with the infantry, and bring the quad cannon back up as soon as he knows they won't be targeted. So every unit that Matt brings up is put in the best position to do the most damage and receive the least damage. Matt is smart. He's not going to be just sending in troops and saying good luck. He wants to put every single unit in the best spot possible. Now he's even training those missile defenders on those laser tanks even, or the RPG troopers. Going to have those quad cannons guarding next to the barracks. Over here on this right side, Pancake setting up his defense, and his USA Air Force does have an airfield down. Players are going to be going to these far corners in order to set up their supply centers. Neo's got this one in the top corner, and looks like Hard Army's going to his corner as well, and Matt's going to his corner for those extra supplies. Now those quad cannons are going down to that laser tank, but that's just enough of a distraction for that rebel to capture the command center. Over here in the middle, Scottagorn's exploring, since I've never been on this map before, just finding out what's there. Jack has a stinger site, 1 garrison building as well, and Matt needs to get a dozer out of the command center. It will survive that last blast from the laser tank, and it's going to make it all the way back to his base. Matt's going to want to be a USA GLA mix this game. He wants to be able to use both armies at the same time and have some fun with it. Skippy, meanwhile, setting up in the middle, captured an oil refinery and set up a laser defense turret just outside of range of Neo's garrison building there. Neo going to come to the middle to help out SS against Skippy. Neo bringing more troops into those garrison buildings there. Looks like Pancake wants to do the same thing with his 2 buildings. He's got 1 stealth bomber ready to go, stealth fighter ready to go. Matt continuing to have success over on this left-hand side against Hard Army. He was able to destroy the barracks now, and using his Marauders to run over as many of these troops as he can. And essentially Hard Army is crippled for the rest of the game. Jack does come in with some quad cannons to defend. Focuses on the quad cannon to take it out early, since he knows his quads can destroy that faster than they can destroy the Marauder. So with Jack's help, Hard Army is going to survive. And it looks like Pancake has been bringing his stealth fighters in to attack those garrison buildings already. He's got 2 of them. I don't think either of them have been shot down. I don't think he's had any shot down yet. In the middle, Skippy surviving an advance from SS with Scorpion tanks and some infantry as well. Now has 3 laser turrets up. Matt going to put one more push in over here on the left side with some RPG troopers and a quad cannon. And those are all... Nope, those are Jacks. Those are not Hard Armies, those are Jack's Scorpions. He does have a missile upgrade for the Scorpion tank, and those will be effective against infantry. But Matt's units still survive. And so Pancake has a second airfield up. Looking at the bases now, it looks like Neo has a nuclear missile silo up. He's got his internet center up. He's got his propaganda center up, which means he's now going to have hackers. He's going to have inferno cannons. And he's going to bring that all to bear on Pancake's defenses. He's going to bring that one inferno cannon straight up to the front line and see how much damage he can do with it before maybe Pancake can take it out with some air. But with those 2 Gatling tanks flanking it, maybe the thought is that even if Pancake does bring in an air to try to destroy it, he can destroy the planes and win on that engagement. Those 2 stealth fighters will together be able to take out that inferno cannon. Skippy's still setting up his defenses, bringing in some Humvees as well towards the middle. Scottagorn and Jack having just a little skirmish here and there in the middle so far. Scottagorn content to garrison a couple buildings and play defensive. Skippy now in his base has the 1 supply. And Pancake already setting up a couple of supply drops in the back of his base. Has his strategy center up. Sending those stealth fighters back in at the next inferno cannon and takes it out just as soon as it gets there. Both will survive. Matt on this left-hand side, yep, content with the damage he's done on Hard Army. Maybe knows that Hard Army isn't going to be recovering very quickly. And so now he's going to go to work on this monster mix of a GLA USA base. He does have a supply and a palace in the back. Skippy bringing his Humvees up to the front and now starting on his first fire base. So Skippy managing his money well. Everyone, no one looks like they have an outrageous amount of money that they're not using at the moment.
Ready for covert mission.
Except for Hard Army. They tend to do that. Yeah, Hard Army is bringing supplies into the middle to sap that up. He's stolen the supply before Jack can get to it. And I do remember Jack saying at the end of this game how Hard Army had just come in and taken all of his supplies. So that must have been Okay, that was Pancake's strike on the nuclear missile silo. With him being USA Air Force, each one of those Aurora bombers cost $2,000, and he sent in all 4 at one time to make sure the nuke silo did go down. So that cost him $8,000 for China Vanilla. I think that was $5,000 for Joe, so it was a good distraction on Joe's part making it. But the nuke is now off the table, at least for a while. And in that amount of time, Scottagorn's made some rocket buggies. He wants to bring them in to outrange the Stinger site, and I think I just found out about the garrison building right next to it as well. Trying to get the buggies to keep their distance from it. Hard Army's allowed to complete that laser turret in the middle. Let's see what that does. Meanwhile, Skippy making his fire bases. They've been engaging Neo's troops as they garrison these buildings. Fire base is able to outrange the defenses that get in there, and that building completely demolished, that building demolished, and that one in wreckage. So Skippy's starting to build a really impressive line of defenses here, and bringing up a line of infantry as well. He has captured the oil. He does have a supply for the middle. And SS is sending in another round of troops. Between the lasers and the fire bases and those Humvees up front, nothing is getting close. So Hard Army sucking up a lot of resources from the map all around Jack. I remember Jack saying that he just didn't have the resources that he needed. By the time he got there, they were all gone. Hard with 3 Chinooks back on that far corner. Jack has a palace. His workers still collecting on that supply dock, but no black markets up yet. SS has a palace up as well. Neo able to fill up his internet center. And it looks like his job right now is to extend this line of defenses all the way to the corner of the map right there, and as far to the edge of this island as he can as well. That way, if Pancake did want to come around and try to get around the edge of it, he wouldn't be able to. And Matt has been working on becoming a laser general, as well as a GLA general, and building a tunnel to bring his guys over to this side.
Ready for war.
Just in case Neo tries it. So now it's 2 versus 1 on Neo. Pancake and Matt both concentrating most of their efforts on that bridge. Jack bringing a significant force over here, and Hard starting to rebuild. Scottagorn positioning a tunnel right there, trying to just claim a little bit of ground bit by bit. Push his way slowly through the middle. Looking at Scottagorn's base, he does have 5 black markets up. He never did put anything over here on this back supply because he never knew it was there. Looking at the middle, he never put anything on this middle supply because he never realized it was there. It's funny how you can drive by a thing a whole bunch of times, but when you're focused on something else in the middle of the game, you just don't notice it. So now we've got buggies versus buggies. Garrison building over here to the right. And Scottagorn not able to keep that Scorpion tank out of the range of those garrisons. That truck gonna blow up before it can do any damage. Look at all this yellow. He's got a garrison building right there. He's got more fire bases up. Skippy just having a fun time making a wall So really, we've got a wall of defenses across the very middle of the map, going halfway across it. One's for the bottom team, and then extends right onto this island for Neo as well. And in that time, Neo's brought another set of Inferno Cannons in, and this time, they're going to get a lot done. Matt seeing the opportunity to maybe bring a couple RPG troopers in, since those Inferno Cannons are weak to those, but the Inferno Cannons are also able to create those firestorms and deal with infantry pretty well. It's going to be Pancake's Auroras that end up taking them out. So now Pancake, something damaged his airfield. I wonder if it was some sort of artillery strike from Neo. He's got a second one right there. Another supply drop. See what's going on in this back corner. Skippy's got his supply drop zones started. Pancake's still got those too. Skippy a couple more supply drops right there. And reactors smartly spaced out just in case anyone does hit him with a bomb of some sort. Starting an airfield and starting some Auroras of his own. Now he's got a second one. So he and Pancake are both headed right at Neo. So Neo not only was dealing with the 2 versus 1 before from Matt and Pancake, but now actually dealing with the 3 versus 1. 3 out of the 4 people on this team are concentrating their energies on Neo. SS, big group on the bridge, garrisoned 3 buildings right there for defense. Neo garrisoned that looks like the Capitol building. Scottagorn still slowly pushing forward, now has an arms dealer in the middle. Oh, he's got something closer to the middle. It won't take his troops quite so long to get there. I never figured out what happened there. That must have been mines. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to see it on the replay. No, that would have been... Jack must have put down... What are they called? Maybe Jack put down... you know what I'm talking about. Those traps. Those explosions. That's gotta be what it is. Jack did have a force there on the left side. Looks like he's brought it to defend this bridge. I think Jack's main goal is to defend Hard Army right now. He wants Hard Army to be able to recuperate and start making another push. But in the meantime, Scottagorn has a little... I've seen more get taken out. I don't know how. Still bothered by that. What happened to my troops? I'm pretty sure I didn't even know that supply was there. I didn't even see it. It's amazing how you can just drive right by things. Not even notice them. Meanwhile, this line of defenses is just getting crazier. I don't know if you guys have been looking at this, but I don't think Jack's money has moved. Oh, there it goes up by 400. I wonder if he's got oil somewhere, or what his money situation there is. But yeah, like he said, his options for money as soon as Hard Army moved in everywhere were very few. SS has built up a pretty impressive force here. And Scottagorn is moving his troops in the middle. See, I don't even know what this is. Someone can explain it. Checking out the other lines of defense over here, they're just getting bigger. Continuing to grow. Now another laser turret over there, why not? Might as well have some fun with it. And Joe has succeeded in taking his line of defenses all the way from coast to coast. And a completely veteran Gatling tank over here lets you know that it was needed, it was useful. Joe starting to get his hackers going as well. Now it's going to be Scottagorn's troops versus the army that SS is bringing in from the corner. That truck does take out 2 Scorpion tanks. It's just Scorpion tanks from Scottagorn against a mixture of infantry, RPG troopers, and Scorpion tanks over on this side. And so initially it looks as if SS's troops should have the advantage, but I'm noticing SS's Scorpion tanks do not have the missile upgrade. And Scottagorn's did, and those do pretty well against infantry, just with 2 buggies in the back. And Scottagorn's was able to save just a couple units and be able to keep on marching. Now it looks like Matt has set up a nice defense of his own with those laser turrets. Pancake still with those 2 airfields. And Neo bringing in an artillery strike on Matt's arms dealer. He does not want Matt coming across the bridge with buggies at him. He wants to stop that at all costs. So Scottagorn is the only one who's really freed up to just do what he wants. Everyone else is really kind of looking across the defensive lines from each other, but now Skippy, 4 Auroras coming in all at the same time. 2 of them will make it back. And even with all of this power back here, with how many laser turrets he has, he's out of power, at least for the time being. 2 airfields now, just like Pancake. So they can harass appropriately. Scottagorn realizing there is nothing between him and Jack's base. I've had it. I've had this view on Jack's money, I guess, for the last 10 minutes now, and we can see it really hasn't moved. His options were very limited. Building his first black market there. I wonder if he had to sell something in order to even be able to get that up. Skippy 5,000, Matt 1,000, so using his money very well. SS a couple hundred. Not sure what kind of secondary economy SS has at this point. And everyone else seems like they're using their economy very well as well, except for Hard Army. That's ridiculous. So looking at Matt's base here, he's decided to go with black markets instead of supply drop zones with the US. Maybe because those are able to rebuild just in case he's nuked or something like that. Scottagorn has some black markets up and going. Skippy with the more supply drop zones back here in this corner, even more than he had before. Nate, nice patch of supply drop zones right there. And Matt, despite Neo's artillery, is starting his army of buggies here. And he's going to be firing on SS's troops without SS really noticing. Skippy bringing in more Auroras. They're going to be working on SS's lines from both sides. Scottagorn moving from Jack's base into SS, who was building a Scudstorm. About halfway through building that one. SS is focused up here. He's going to be bringing in all of his infantry to try to negate Scottagorn's army here, and specifically bringing them in against the buggies, which is smart. Buggies have almost no firepower against infantry. I see some terrorists in there as well. Scottagorn wants no part of that, and so he just drives to the back of the base. Meanwhile, Matt with his buggies able to outrange these units. SS looking somewhere else, probably distracted by Scottagorn in the back of his base. Skippy taking out the buildings. Matt content to just take out these infantry units one at a time with those buggies, even though I just said the buggies are weak against infantry. I mean, if you're patient, might as well. Nope. Wow, those scorpions were healed right at the perfect time as that terrorist was running in. So at this point, Matt's got his army. Skippy's got his Aurora bombers. Another one's coming in right now, I think. Pancake still got his Aurora bombers. Jack's out of the fight. SS's base is getting run through right now. So as Neo, with Hard Army getting crippled right at the very beginning, as Neo, what's your goal? What are you trying to do at this moment? Because you can probably feel the map closing in on you. Tons of hackers going, so he can build some sort of defense pretty quickly, and it looks like he's sending missile defenders, whatever you want to call them, to these 2 buildings right here. Going to finish off his defensive wall on this bridge as well, seeing that Skippy's bringing in offense right there. This is the part where Matt asked if he could steal these black markets instead of destroy them. I said I was fine with that. And now Skippy, having decimated SS's lines of defense, is going to be bringing these Auroras back to Joe's base. Pancake, even more supply drop zones. And a group of tomahawks. I've never seen those there before. Never noticed that. Meanwhile, Matt's capturing buildings and guarding them with his army. Skippy chipping away at this enormous line of defenses. It still does stretch all the way across, so you can't fly right directly over it, except with those Auroras. Skippy and Scottagorn are ready to make this push into the last base on the map. That's unscathed, anyways. Until Neo comes. I remember looking down and looking back up and just saying, where did my army go? I thought I had buggies. Why do I have 2 Scorpion tanks? I don't understand what this game is. And now Matt's got the army of buggies coming in. Just the horde of light blue units going to be able to outrange pretty much anything that Neo has at the moment. And they found their way into Neo's base from that left side. To Neo's credit, no one was able to enter his base from this front, even though, as I say that, someone dropped bombs on it. I wasn't able to determine who it was. Yeah, massive amount of buggies from Matt. Because he had a USA reactor, all of his GLA units were built twice as fast. All of his GLA buildings were built twice as fast. And so this army of buggies is coming in quick. Neo sending in the last of his troops. Might as well. What else can you do at this point but just try to take out as many as you can with you? And smartly uses that EMP blast as well, trying to attack the troops that had been disabled, but doesn't look like he could quite get there on time. Skippy's still bringing in Auroras. I mean, 4 people are attacking him all at the same time at this moment. So, Matt dropping some sort of a toxin bomb. With a huge range, holy cow. Extends all the way over there. Skippy going for units, going for power to try to get those Gatling cannons down. Bringing in Humvees. And Joe, in the meantime, has allowed SS to take the brunt of all of these attacks from here on out. So it's just SS and Hard Computer at this point. So looking over at Hard Computer, what were they able to rebuild? Just by Matt's initial push 2 minutes into the game, like they've made some reactors, they made a couple defenses right there, garrisoned a building, good job. But really, they never created an army. They sucked all the resources out of this corner and the middle, just trying to rebuild one. And Matt essentially neutralized that army from the get-go at the very beginning of the game. I still like looking at this line of defenses. It's just so many laser turrets. And now Skippy bringing in a line of helicopters as well. We've got a stream of buggies from Matt going across the top of the map. An Aurora bomber from Pancake. And now an army of Auroras and an army of helicopters from Skippy. Yeah, at this point in the game, no one's trying to use all of their resources. Just try not to make too many units to crash the game, I suppose, at this point. Up top, that's buggies having a heyday. We're gonna have some resistance from these helicopters. Buggies are not able to target air units. Meanwhile, Skippy's force of helicopters makes it all the way to the middle of the base, meets up with Matt's buggies, and that's it. Hard gives up. That's the end of the game. One more time back here.
You are victorious.
So about a half-an-hour game. Kind of a 3 versus 4 from the beginning, with Matt able to cripple Hard Army right off the bat. You can see how skilled he is at going against Hard Army, that if no one's able to get there soon enough to defend hard, Matt's going to be able to take them out quick. And so final supplies collected, Matt got all those black markets up and going, so he's at the top of the list. Skippy very close behind. Had a very balanced offensive attack this game. Skippy had Auroras and Humvees and I think a couple laser tanks as well, so very balanced between air and ground attack. And most buildings killed was Skippy, probably from all those Auroras. Matt not too far behind with all those buggies. And the units destroyed, Scottagorn 149, probably going through a couple of GLA bases with a lot of infantry, a lot of workers around. And had the most units created, Matt not too far behind with 142. So that's it for this replay, and we will catch you next time.